On today's episode of The Glue Guys, Brian,
Mike?
what if I told you
Oh, boy.
that Kevin Durant could
Oh, boy.
still be a net?
Oh, jeez.
What if I told you
We're all over the place.
Kyrie Irving could still be a net?
More on that and more coming up next.
Welcome back to The Glue Guys. This is Mike here. Say hello, Brian.
Hello.
Check us out on Twitter at BK Glue Guys, netsdaily.com, The Athletic. Get yourself behind the paywall at theathletic.com/glue guys.
Classic intro.
A subsidiary of the New York Times.
Batman?
Right?
Michael, what's the newest? What's the newest latest?
Kevin Durant is back, baby.
I put my phone down for Independence Day. It didn't feel right to be plugged in all Independence Day. And I need catching up. What's the newest latest?
Big Daddy Joe came in with his Alibaba money and said to Kevin Durant, "You're going to stay."
Don't lead with trolls. Is that trolling? No.
Actually, this has been the newsiest off-season morning beyond the, Kevin Durant asking out. Brian, so we're going to talk real quickly. I mean, I just have to mention TJ Warren and Edmund Sumner.
Love to have an Edmund on the team. A Ted.
And Eddie.
Yeah.
Eddie Good Times. Eddie Sumner.
Rarely do you see someone go full Edmund. They usually go Ted, but we got an Edmund finally.
Is Ted short actually for Edmund?
It is. Did you know that?
I don't know about that.
It is.
Where do you get your...
I got an Uncle Ted. I'm hearing it right from the
And
top.
he's an Edmund?
He's an Edmund.
Edmund Egan?
Edmund Egan.
Wow, that's a
Tedman,
strong-
a.k.a. Tedman.
That's a solid as oak right there.
Yeah, he's
Is oak even that strong?
It's very strong. And he is incredibly strong. He's 80.
It was known around the Egan family, the strength of Ted Edmund Egan.
Yeah.
Let's get to it. So quickly, TJ Warren and Edmund Sumner have signed with the Nets. TJ Warren is very interesting.
Yeah, super
And
interesting.
we're going to fold this into a much larger discussion. The bulk of this episode is going to be sort of an analysis of the developments around the Kevin Durant trade request saga. I'll say this. We could do a breakdown of TJ Warren,
Okay.
right?
You want to save that for August?
Save it for August when he's actually the leading scorer on this team and the rest of the guys have been traded. What's interesting about him, of course, I mean, he's a 20-point per game scorer who doesn't really shoot threes. He's of the mold of he's a bucket getter.
Yeah.
He's a big old, but he's played 4 games in 2 years, which is very much, he's kind of a perfect net, right? Like he's productive but doesn't play. So he fits right in.
That's part of the culture we're building here.
But not to be too memey, it's a good deal. Like, I don't know. I mean, it's a 1-year deal. Who knows how much they're paying him?
Yeah.
They can't pay him all that much because they don't have any money to give anyone. TJ Warren's a guy I think a lot of teams could have wanted, and it's interesting that he chose to come to Brooklyn to play for the Nets.
I find that he's like a perfect kind of player for the Nets in so many ways. And in a lot of ways, the Nets are currently a reflection of a struggling fantasy team because TJ Warren is like a perfect bellwether for like if you didn't come out of the gate, maybe you're down, maybe you have a 1-3 record to start the season. TJ Warren off the waiver wires might be exactly who you're going to pick up.
And I have no thoughts on Edmund Sumner beyond what I mean, he's coming off an Achilles injury. He is, from what I could tell, he shot threes pretty well the last year that he was in Indianapolis when he was healthy, in Indiana. But I say this is what's actually more important. Okay, so if the Nets are going to make a Kevin Durant trade, pretty much any team they trade with is going to have to send back multiple players to match the salary of Kevin Durant. It is unusual then, if you're Sean Marks and you are furiously working the phones to find that Kevin Durant trade, that you would begin filling up your roster with guys beyond sort of like just the summer league fare. Like TJ Warren is going to be on this team. Edmund Sumner, I have no clue.
Is the summer league fair? Let's be honest. I mean,
but the Woj tweet makes me think that this is a signing that is a little bit more, right? Like Woj ultimately has to decide whether he's going to tweet a signing. He doesn't tweet every signing.
Okay.
him tweeting about Emden Sumner following up the T.J. Warren, the
Yeah.
Warren Commission into Fort Sumner.
Nice. Well
For
done.
your history heads out there.
Lots of them.
Fort Sumner's where Billy the Kid had his last stand.
Wow.
And I did a whole thing on Twitter.
Have you been
about,
hitting the books or something?
You know, I'm a man of culture.
Okay.
You know, I'm a
didn't
man
know
of
that.
more than just the Brooklyn
After
Nets.
20 years of knowing you, I didn't know that, but
You know, I'm a man of Marvel and Star
Yeah.
Wars, you know, and Harry Potter.
That's what I know.
Big IP, baby.
So, and you're thinking that the Woj thing is because the more pressing data point is that they're making moves outside. And how does that inform the existing issues, the logjam, if you will, with our star players?
It's just unusual to add more guys to your roster if you're thinking you're gonna make a trade. And listen, we're looking at small data points here, right?
Always.
And this episode will essentially be a murder mystery of what we're trying to uncover.
It's on pace to be a classic episode.
You don't add guys to your roster if you're gonna then trade one of your pieces for multiple pieces, and then you're gonna have to cut people off of your roster.
Yeah.
I mean, the Nets really don't have much fat to trim. They're 95.5% fat ground beef.
That's a Wagyu right there.
They don't got much. There's not that much marbling in there. You know that this is
it's
a
gristle.
strong
You're saying
beef.
it's gristle. I thought it was like
Yeah, it's definitely not Wagyu.
yeah. You go Wagyu, I go Wagyu.
You're probably right. You know, I'm not cultured, Brian. I'm just a lunch pail, blue collar American. You're from the elite
I know.
Montclair.
Well, I mean, if Boba Fett had a steak preference, that would be your entry. Anyways, we're getting lost in the sauce.
Boba Fett's a vegetarian, and everyone knows that. Okay,
Is
Brian?
that true? Is that I haven't hit the wiki in a while. Anyways,
I don't know. I don't really know. Anyways, can I do my whole bit?
please, you got
I
a
have
bit?
a whole bit.
Okay, yeah, I didn't. Of course, who might have stand in the way of your bit?
This is officially Glue Guys Theater, the monologue.
A one-man show?
I am Billy Crystal of Brooklyn Nets
my
Podcasting.
gosh.
Here's what I want to say, Brian. If I'm Sean Marks, better yet, if I'm Joe Tsai, okay? Because I don't think Sean Marks is driving the bus as much on the KD discussions as Joe Tsai is. We have
Interesting.
some reason to believe that Kevin Durant is not that happy with our boy, Sean Marks.
Okay.
Logan Murdoch from The Ringer, who used to work in Golden State when KD was there a week ago, before KD had his trade request, came out and said KD is unhappy with the way the team is being run.
Yeah.
And that's a Sean Marks thing. Okay.
Well,
so if I'm Joe Tsai,
okay.
this is what I do.
I'll bite. Yeah, go ahead.
I ring up Kevin Durant. Better yet, I bring him in for a brunch. Okay, just a brunch. Because in no context is have like, you know, in Godfather there was the murder at dinner. No murders at brunch. Brunches are only happy. We haven't had a brunch massacre.
Yeah. Well, the part where Don Corleone is shopping for oranges, that looks like around lunchtime. Like, so
Was that I think it was pre-brunch though, because
he's setting up for he's getting
up.
it's for the mimosas. He's gonna have some floaters in there.
Where are the mimosas? Don Corleone, the family's leader, is just dead on the ground. His
There's
grandson
no orange.
kicking him.
There's no orange slices in my mimosa. Anyways, go ahead.
I'm Joe Tsai. I call Kevin Durant. Kevin, let's meet. Let's meet. We can still be friends, even though we're going to do this thing. We're going to trade you. Okay, so they meet. Okay, they go get brunch at Siddell's, Lower East Side institution for the upper crust elite like yourself.
Yeah.
Okay, they go and meet at Siddell's. Little space in the back. You know, not too public forward. You don't want to be up front.
But
where
not,
it's the
but
glass
not at my
windows.
table. I got my table there. They're not going to sit there, are they? I got
No,
that
they're
one.
gonna be up
I
in
got
the-
that
they're
one
gonna be
roped
back.
off. Yeah. Okay.
The Brian Egan table. Joe's going to sit down with Kevin. Say, Kevin, how's it going? That's where he's going to start the conversation. Let me tell you something, Kevin.
Good way to start.
We've been working very hard for you, right? Like, we've been working extremely hard.
Okay.
You want to be traded. I respect that. I respect your thoughts. I get it. Here's what's been happening, though. I don't know if you follow Adrian Wojnarowski or people like that on Twitter.
I don't.
Are you on Twitter,
and I'm
Kevin?
lying. I'm playing Kevin. I'm not, and I don't.
Okay. So, you know, I would think you're like we declaring that you are available would ignite a fury of trade offers. Did you see how much Rudy Gobert went for, Kevin?
Nope, not paying attention. I'm in my bag. I'm in my game.
Like 6 first-round picks, essentially. I mean, it was one of the biggest hauls in NBA history. Do you think you're better than Rudy Gobert?
I do. Okay. I've heard of him. Yeah.
So it's unusual then that we're going through all this. Like, we're just not getting the trade offers that we love to see. And hey, we're working for you.
Yeah.
We're working for you. Okay. Are you better than Tyler Hero?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, unquestionably.
Are you better than Duncan Robinson?
Yes. Anyone who you're going to name him, yeah, is a yes.
So, as a person who loves basketball, myself, Joe Tsai, one of the co-founders of Alibaba, college lacrosse player, an athlete myself. We're athletes. We're just two athletes talking.
Understood.
Men of sport. Yeah. It offends me that I'm being called and being offered Tyler Hero and Duncan Robinson and picks that are way into the future. For you, you're Kevin Durant.
Yeah.
That offends me as a basketball man. So we're working hard for you. But I have an idea.
Shoot.
Okay?
Yeah.
And this is just something I want you to think about. I don't want you, like, no reaction, just think.
Can you write it on a napkin for me?
Napkin will be involved. Okay, this is J.K. Rowling writing out Harry Potter on a napkin, which, again, a reference you don't understand.
I know that reference.
Because you did not have a childhood.
I listened to podcasts about things, and that's where I picked up on her writing process.
Regardless of whatever else is happening in her life. Okay, Kevin, we're at Sedell's. Our tray of toppings have come. Like the 3-tier. There's the lox, the cucumber, cream cheese, onions, capers. We just got it dropped off at our table. What are you drinking? You're drinking a mimosa from the Godfather's garden.
Yes.
Tying it all together.
Nice.
Hey, Kevin, I got an idea. Okay, so you want to be traded. I respect that. We are okay trading you, but we got to get something in return that is requisite to the level of basketball player that you are.
For my legacy. I don't want to be the guy that got traded for peanuts. That's not part of my brand.
No, you want to get at least a walnut.
Yeah.
At least a macadamia.
A macadamia, please. If we're going.
Yeah. Okay. Hey, I apologize.
And put a little truffle oil on that macadamia while we're at it.
I agree. I agree with you.
Yeah.
Okay. So here's what I think. We are going to continue to work on finding the perfect trade for you. But here's the issue. Right now, because of when you requested the trade, which was after sort of the big boom of free agency, everyone had already kind of had their plans laid out. The Rudy Gobert trade has now happened. A lot of these teams have made their big trades. Atlanta traded all the things that they traded for DeJounte Murray. It's tough to find the perfect situation for you. Not for us, for you.
Okay.
And what I think could be really appealing is, what if I told you there was a team that had under contract one of your best friends in the league?
I have no friends. Who are you talking about?
They also have under contract one of the most exciting young talents in the NBA. And they have a bevy of role players, shooters, and defenders. And we're going to sign TJ Warren. You don't know this yet, but we're going to sign TJ Warren. Okay?
Just put it on the napkin, Joe. Damn it.
Kevin, let's think about this. Let's make an agreement right now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Well, don't even think. I don't want to put that pressure on you. Just think about it. You come back for one more ride. Okay? Did you see The Last Dance?
No.
I would have thought you would because you're such a basketball junkie, Kevin.
But I'm just in the gym. I mean, if it's playing on a screen in the gym, maybe I'll have had half an eye on it. Yeah.
That's how he watched all the Lord of the Rings. He was working on his free throws. That's why he's such a good free throw shooter.
Yeah.
So in The Last Dance, Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen come back and decide they're going to win one more with Phil Jackson and then all go about their separate ways or whatever ended up happening. I don't know. I was building one of the most powerful companies in the world at the time, so I wasn't exactly clued in to what was happening in the inner turmoil with the Chicago Bulls in the 90s. Anyways, back to you.
Subtle flex. Okay, I'm here.
You come back for one more ride. Mm-hmm. Kyrie's on that final year of his contract. The situation we have in Brooklyn is going to be better than any situation you're going to go to that we could trade you to. You come back, just worry about basketball. Don't worry about anything else. Don't worry about, I don't know, the media. The media. Who cares?
You're right.
Alex Schiffer.
You're
You won't have to see Alex Schiffer for the rest of your life. Okay?
whatever you. So I'm in. Whatever it is.
Alex Schiffer
just
would be
kidding.
banished.
Just kidding. Shout out to Alex Schiffer.
He can cover the Long Island
I
Nets.
don't like that. I don't have your relationship with Alex. Okay, so I don't want to participate in this.
Kevin, just come back and play basketball. Okay? Just that's all. And then here's what we will do. You dedicate yourself to this one season with us, with your friend Kyrie, with this bevy of shooters. Okay? We will then, in the next offseason, when other teams are prepared for it, we'll find you that perfect deal. Of course, we're going to want to get, our cut, our sniff, but we'll get you where you want to go. Because right now, it's Phoenix, whose owner is potentially
worse than
there's
me.
accusations he may be racist.
Yeah.
And Chris Paul, who's old in Phoenix, and Ayton, who may not be probably won't be on the team, or Miami. And I know you like Miami, but like Kevin, if we're gonna trade you to Miami, you're not gonna get to play with Jimmy Butler, Bam Adebayo, and Kyle Lowry. Like we're gonna be taking pieces of that core. So then you're gonna be left in Miami with a crusty Kyle Lowry and an angry Jimmy Butler. Is that what you want?
Selfishly, I am interested to hear what that after a year, and I'm going hypothetically here with you. What would you be thinking? Selfishly, just interested, for my own purposes.
We will work with you to find your perfect landing spot. We will find you that property in that other city, that franchise that works for you. Again, we'll get our sniff, our cut.
And
but
you don't have any ideas about what franchise that could be? You know.
That's up to you.
Okay.
That's up to you. But right now, Kevin, I'll say this right now. You know who Vivek Ranadive is? The owner of the Sacramento Kings?
I do.
Okay. So what is happening right now is we're getting bad offers from people in Miami, Pat Riley, from people in, Phoenix, James Jones. But Vivek is texting me on WeChat. We're WeChatting together. And what Vivek is saying to me is like, hey, I will give you all my picks into the future. I will give you Davion Mitchell, Sabonis. I'll give you whatever you want. Just give me Kevin Durant. I don't want to do that to you.
Yeah.
Like I could. I just want to let you know I can send you to Sacramento.
Where's Nick Stauskas? That's my big question.
Nick Stauskas was actually on the NBA runner-up Boston Celtics.
Is he?
He didn't play, but he was on the team.
Man.
But
Where is he?
I can send you to Sacramento. Do you want that? Do you want to go to Sacramento?
No, thanks.
Okay. So, I don't want to pull that. Imagine right in front of you right now, Kevin, are 3 envelopes. Okay? One envelope you open up, there's like some weird goo on it, and it says Sacramento. Ugh, throw that away. We don't want that envelope. Another one.
What's the goo?
It's just like weird, like, just
really
goo.
cheaply mailed. Yeah.
It's just like disgusting. Like you kind of open it up, you're like, where did this come from? It came from Sacramento.
Right.
We don't want to touch that. We could touch it, but we don't want to touch it. We're going to burn it.
Yeah.
Find a fireplace, burn it. The second envelope is you holding out for the year and waiting for the perfect trade. Come on. Your legacy would be so damaged. The third envelope. Now, this is that envelope that's like pressed in wax to seal it. You know, like how George Washington did it.
Yeah.
When he fought the king.
The seal on it. Yeah.
It's got the seal. You know what's on the seal is a Nets logo.
Ooh.
And you open it up, and
Sacred.
it has like those strands in it. So when you pull the strand, it opens up, kind of folds out beautifully.
Ooh, and it's like a 3D card with a song.
I'm like, there's a calligraphy. You know, there's like a really nice penmanship.
Okay.
And it says on there, Kevin, we invite you for one final engagement. Come back to Brooklyn, win a championship, and in it is a picture of you on a championship float with Kyrie Irving, Jimmy Fallon, and Mayor Eric Adams. How does that look to you, Kevin? Does that look good? Is that a good envelope?
That's a decent one.
Okay.
That's
So
a decent
come back to Brooklyn.
Is
I don't
Steve,
wanna
is
send you to
Steve
Sacramento.
Madden on the float? The shoe. The shoe.
It's actually shaped like a Steve Madden shoe. It is shaped like a clunky black Steve Madden shoe. So, one last dance, baby. I gotta think of a better hashtag than the last dance because that's already been taken. But Last tango in Brooklyn, baby. Let's dial it up.
Last Buchata. Yeah, I mean, honestly, now let's break character. Do you want to go back and see? Nice.
The funny thing is, as
you were going full Daniel Day-Lewis there. I thought it was going to be you and Joe Tsai for the foreseeable future.
I've been looking at the timer on like my Adobe as we've been recording. This has been going on for what a bit. The longest bit.
Legendary.
Kevin Durant could be traded, and I'm doing a bit for 15 minutes.
Yeah.
What a disgrace. A Shonda, as my people would say.
I thought you were. I was like, is this Mike Smeltz or Jared Leto here? I couldn't tell.
What do you think of that proposition?
Well, it seems like. Well, can we just talk about the reporting that's been out?
Yes.
That seems to be like a thing that's being, chirped about now, Mike. That this is potential. I wonder, this would be an interesting situation for that. Where do we think Kevin Durant lands on asking to be traded and not getting what he wants?
Wait. Shams just has now said the Nets are making moves in preparations as if they're bringing Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving back next season. Shams has said this himself.
Okay.
On Pat McAfee's show. He said it 13 minutes ago. Now, this is someone retweeting someone else who's aggregating that, so I can't.
Let's put an asterisk on it, but okay.
I'm going to wait for Pat McAfee. I'm going to go on Pat McAfee's Twitter. He says, this is what Shams says. This is directly from McAfee's show's Twitter. The Nets are not going to move Kevin Durant until the price is met. The process could take a while. There's no traction on any type of Lakers deal for Kyrie Irving, and I'm not sure we're going to see one take place, which is very important that Shams is saying all this stuff. It's funny that he says that, and I was tweeting out the same thing this morning. It's like we worked.
It'd be interesting if we flip the relationship here, because like going into last season, it was like, oh, everyone's just hunky dory. We're all going to sign these long-term extensions, and it's going to be great. And that didn't go well.
Happened?
But in this case, we're like everyone's here for incredibly short term, and they want to leave. And maybe following quantum physics, these are the laws. I don't make them up. This is God. That by inverse property, it'll work out better for us, Mike.
Well, it's a classic sort of rom-com setup, like How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days. It's
exactly
it's
following the
falling
laws
in love
of
when you're
rom-coms.
not supposed to.
Yeah.
And I mean this on. There's a lot of gimmicks, and I understand. I apologize to everyone who wants a serious Nets podcast here.
You're not going to get it. Not until October, my friends. Bear with us.
This is the best move for everyone involved. I understand the downside. Listen, Kyrie Irving. Being a part of a team that maybe had a chance to win a championship the past few seasons and being completely unreliable, I don't see by him only having a one-year deal by that getting better. Kevin Durant being on the team and being as disengaged as he's been during his time in Brooklyn, I understand the risks of that. But as you were saying, there is a certain psychological thing of like the last dance mentality of like, hey, we're here together. We came here together on purpose. We are here together now. This team is actually pretty good. If you cross out all the names, you just put the statistics of the guys around you.
Yeah.
Adding in Royce O'Neal and TJ Warren, like two totally fine. They are a departure from the Blake Griffin, LaMarcus Aldridge's.
Yeah. And also their wings. It seems like management heard our calls for more wings, for flats and drums.
And as Kevin Durant himself tweeted out, this is a wings league. As he did 2 weeks ago, Sean Marks actually reads Twitter and saw that maybe happen. I mean, this is, again, if Kevin Durant wants to leave, he will get his way out, right? And whether that means that he's going to sit out the season if he's truly that mad, or he talks to Joe Tsai and is like, the thing that bothers me is this, and whether that's Steve Nash, Sean Marks, or Kyrie actually being on the team still, even though we don't think it's Kyrie necessarily, like Joe Tsai in his mind should be like, okay, can I just remove that person from the fact? We have a modern precedent on how this worked out. Aaron Rodgers for the Green Bay Packers demanded a trade out of Green Bay. He hated the guy who ran that team, Brian Gutekunst. I don't know. Mina Kimes, I apologize. I don't know how to say.
Gutekunst?
It's Gutenkust, I think.
Well, I don't know.
Yeah, seriously. Brian K. but I think his name actually starts with a G. Anyways,
Solid.
Aaron Rodgers hated that guy. Went on Pat McAfee's show, the very show we're talking about, and talked about how he hated that guy. But they brought him back because they couldn't find the trade that makes sense. They wouldn't trade him, and now he has signed a massive extension to come back to the Green Bay Packers. I'm not saying the Nets should even be doing this as a bait and switch to be like, come back for 1 year, then we'll trade you. No, just say we are going to come back for 1 year. That is the best thing for the Nets. The only thing that will drop KD's value is if he gets another major injury. So for the Nets' perspective, the offers will be better next year. There'll be more teams that will be able to bid because the salary cap will be higher.
Yeah.
All those teams can plan for Kevin Durant. And the Nets get 1 more year of Kevin Durant. Remember what Kyrie said? He said something about fulfilling his commitment to Kevin Durant when he announced that he was going to come back to the team because of his player option. I don't think it's out of the question to be like, hey, man, we hate management. We saw in the Last Dance documentary, you can hate management and win a championship. It's not like that probably happens all the time in the NBA.
I want to tap Glue Nation. I need eyes on the street for this brunch. Okay, for the upper echelon, the global coastal media elite who listen to the show. Eyes on it. Keep your head on a swivel out there. Okay.
Where should we be sending people? What are the premiered brunch spots across all of New York City? I mean, Cipriani's. I don't know if they serve brunch, but that feels very like.
I don't even know this.
Del Frisco Steakhouse.
I'm pretty out on brunch. I'll just say this personally.
Siddell's. I know Siddell's was and is a place. Bubby's. And isn't that Bubby's in Meatpacking? Is maybe a location. Carbone. If it's a late night,
off. My God.
If it's a late night meeting, it's going to be Carbone.
But no, that's when you don't want to go. I thought the late night meeting was.
I wouldn't. If I was Josiah, I would stick with brunch. But the dinner is a possibility. You never know.
Okay.
Let me ask you this. I'm going to take a quick pause, but then I have a question for you on the other side. And the question is, would you be okay with the One Last Dance? Don't answer now. Coming back on the Glue Guys. And we're back, Brian.
Yeah.
I asked you a question before break.
I forgot it already. Just kidding. Yeah. Would I want him back for the Last Dance? I think I would, Mike. I think I would. I think I honestly would, and not just because of quantum physics. I think it for the transitive property. Negative emotions coming into the season. Making. Wow. Sorry, that was a.
You're smart. No, that was good.
It was no Fort Sumner, but.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Yes, I think the incentives there are aligned. The Kyrie Irving situation too, I think, is a pretty interesting loose end here because of all the things that don't have traction in this elaborate multi-part deal that needs to happen for Kevin Durant, it's this other big sticking point of Kyrie Irving, and having Kyrie Irving return on a player option sans Kevin Durant would be bad for everybody involved. So yeah, for all the parties, and also this is not to say that like mid-season, again, we talked about this last show. If for whatever reason it's truly toxic and we're hovering in the bottom half of the playoff seeding at around the trade deadline, great. Everyone's super aligned. We know what we got to do. It's truly not working out for whatever reason. No harm, no foul. Now we're in a better position to find everybody the right suitor, so on and so forth. Just gives it a little bit more breathing room, Mike. A little bit more breathing room.
And there are still trades that interest me, but none of them are so interesting that it jars me away from having a disgruntled Kevin Durant. Like, I still think, if Steve Nash is good at anything, it should be like sort of helping out the, I don't know, overall vibes and feelings around the team. He obviously has no X's and O's abilities, doesn't know when to call a timeout, has ridiculous substitutions, but he's a great guy.
Yeah.
And there's value in that. And we haven't heard really any Steve Nash smoke.
No.
And that's what's weird is that Kevin Durant and Rich Kleiman, his agent, tell Woj and Shams that KD wants out, but there's no articulation of why. Mm-hmm. And again, the timeline of it, Kyrie player ops in. He sends that weird text message to Shams about how he's, normal people, and then there's people who lead, but then he's going to go in the fall and, whatever. And then KD wants to get out. it's like as if something between Kyrie and KD, there was some conversation that was said between those two guys after the opt-in that made that spooked Kevin Durant, because it's very odd from the reporting. What that could be, who knows? Maybe it's like Kyrie's like, I'm not going to play basketball in the future on some level. There's always been, Nick Wright has been talking about for 2 to 3 years that Kyrie has threatened retirement before in the past, particularly when it comes to trades. But even if he threatens retirement on some level, you think he's going to play this year because he said he would, but he's a pretty unreliable narrator, so I don't really know about that. I think the best thing for Kevin Durant, if I was his new agent, because frankly, Rich Kleiman is not doing a very good job. To be honest.
Whoa.
Why would you let your client sign a 4-year extension when the other stars of the team didn't sign that extension? And the reason why Kevin Durant's in this situation asking out for a trade is because he doesn't have control over his own future. Rich Kleiman, you're on blast.
Well, come on the show. Defend yourself.
I've talked to him before. Very nice guy.
Oh, jeez. Look at you, snake in the grass.
You like that? Yeah, but he should be doing a better job for his client. It's his fiduciary responsibility.
It's HIPAA, damn it.
Do you think the fan base would embrace Kevin Durant for this villain turn final run?
Yeah, I was actually just thinking about this. Like, what would the energy be like? Night one, we're rolling out with Ben Simmons, Kyrie, and KD. I actually think there's weirdly the Nets fan base was not in a position to have such lavish players just thrust upon them in the way. And now, I think that there was a lot of complacency in Barclays. If I can speak openly, is this a safe space for that?
This is a very safe space. We just did a 25-minute monologue,
and if there's a little bit of momentum, or I'll say motivation behind actually wanting to, if that's what we want to do. To make it feel like a compelling place to play basketball. And, there's a non-zero chance that triumvirate comes in and hits the ground running day one. It's like that's a very plausible scenario where that group just starts really racking up dubs, and dubs make the world go round, Mike.
No, normal people do.
Sorry. Yes. Legends of the Fall make the dubs go round. And so, again, quantum physics, I didn't make the rules.
What a great name for the Legends of the Fall. Can someone, Des Lombardo, just superimpose everyone's face on the Legends of the Fall poster?
Yeah, I'll be Anthony Hopkins
I call Brad Pitt.
Post-stroke. Sorry. Anyways, so there's a non-zero chance that they come out swinging, and it really just makes it a more compelling argument. Maybe all of a sudden, a lot of it can heal the wounds, weirdly, paradoxically. And so, yeah, to your point about what will Nets Nation do about this? I actually think for once it might get them involved in a way that they haven't been potentially to this point.
I think it would be a healthier relationship because all of these sort of nostalgia, bubblegum BS of sports fandom will just be ripped away. It'll be paint thinned. It'll be just ripped away.
Yeah.
And all that will be bare walls.
Yeah.
And what we'll see is hey, this house is being held up by a couple of twigs, but it's Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving's basketball skills that are holding up this house.
Nothing
enjoy the basketball.
Light a fire under your ass than staring into the void of DeAndre Ayton and Ben Simmons led Nets team.
And Russell Westbrook, don't forget.
Oh my God. Yes.
God, that would be so that's the whole thing. It's the KD trade could happen. So, Toronto, Golden State has apparently inquired, but Golden State has also been told basically it's not going to happen. The Heat have obviously jumped in. The Suns have been a team that have been listed. I like New Orleans, but New Orleans has not been discussed at all as a Kevin Durant proposition. Toronto is the only package to me that would give me if it was door number 1 and door number 2, and door number 1 is Kevin Durant returning disgruntled but focused, whatever that is, returning to the team, playing with Kyrie for one more year. Or door number 2 is Scotty Barnes, Pascal Siakam, and picks, and then you trade Kyrie for anything. I don't care what it is. that is a somewhat appealing door number 2 that I could get energetically behind, because I think Scotty Barnes is that good. He's actually the guy that Ben Simmons should be, where he's like multi-positional defender, which Ben Simmons is, ball handler, which Ben Simmons is, both not good shooters, but Scotty Barnes isn't afraid, where Ben Simmons has shown over his career that he's afraid to shoot the basketball. Scotty Barnes is like the ultimate leader, we're told about.
I'm actually getting super tucked into this because, I mean, in any circumstance, let alone this one, I might disgruntled but focused might be the best way to describe Kevin Durant's just standard modus operandi. That's his general way of being. So now in a situation where there's good, the externalities where there's reason to be disgruntled matches, reality a little bit closer, could be a perfect storm, Mike.
He's disgruntled and focused. I'm bitter and lazy. That's where I operate from.
Yeah, as opposed to Kyrie's disgruntled, but also
disgruntled and disengaged.
And puts up nummies though. I mean, this is the other thing
Once
about
a week.
that's the other thing that I was thinking about with the Kyrie Irving like playing infrequently situation. It's like I think in his head whenever he did play, he was like, as long as I put up 50 points, like nobody could say anything to me. And from a coaching perspective, like it's awesome to have incredible offensive talent, but integrating that into a consistent, coherent offense, it's like every 3 games I have a guy who has an incredible volume and shoots, scores 50 points it's cool, but what does that do for me long term?
I mean, tough. And we kind of mentioned this at the beginning, at the top, but if you're building a team around Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, and Ben Simmons, that's why the Royce O'Neal trade makes more sense.
Yeah.
TJ Warren makes a ton of sense on this team. If and there's all these caveats. They're like with TJ Warren, if he's healthy. Well, the reason why I got a 1-year deal for whatever amount of money it's going to be, which is going to be low, that's the caveat is built into the contract, right? So the Nets shouldn't be relying on TJ Warren, but he's like the prize at the end of the advent calendar. Yeah, the last, like maybe you'll get there, and you hope it's good. Could be bad. Could have been a waste of time.
It almost never is.
Almost never is.
Yeah.
I'm Jewish, so advent calendar is very.
It's always a chocolate with a raisin in it or something,
Ooh, well, that's okay.
Interesting.
All right,
I take it all back.
Convert. So let's just. This is the lineup: Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, Ben Simmons, and I'll talk about Ben Simmons in a sec. I'm not sure. Nick Claxton and Royce O'Neal as sort of the defense first bros. Joe Harris, Patty Mills, Seth Curry, shooters. TJ Warren as the bench scoring option. We'll take the load off those guys.
Wow, we're checking a lot of boxes, Mike. We're checking a lot of boxes.
And then you have the young guys. Cam Thomas. Kessler Edwards is still there, who I am partly high on. Edmund Sumner, who just seems like a swell human being and could shoot threes a little bit. Day'Ron Sharp.
Edmund Sumner really does sound like a Civil War general, doesn't it? It really. Let alone, Fort Sumner. Surely he has that nickname. Is he a good defender? Do we have anything? Because if he was a good defender, that would, start working on that D game, Edmund, because that's a ready-made nickname for you. Anyways, I interrupted.
Again, this is what Shams is saying. The Nets are making moves in preparation as if they're bringing Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving back next season. Now, what could have spurred that change? Again, I think Kevin Durant's trade request was very flimsy. Very weird.
Everyone's at both sides are just going to be like, did that even really happen? Nah, it's just like, it was fake.
I'm learning more and more about the Supreme Court. It's like when the Supreme Court got hijacked by Southern Confederates back around the Civil War days.
You've been listening to an audiobook, Mike, and I want to know the name of it. Stop
the encyclopedia.
Okay.
And so you just, at that time, they just disregarded the Supreme Court because it was so slanted to one particular side.
Okay.
Not that I'm commenting on anything happening right now, but I'm just saying that happened in the past and there's precedent for that if we care about precedent. Anyways, the flimsy trade request in Kevin Durant's own sort of history of waffling on thoughts. He's a man in the moment. He's not a master schemer.
No.
He's a man in the moment.
Yeah.
What he feels in his gut.
Yeah.
He's not LeBron.
Yeah.
No, what he happens in his gut. It wouldn't surprise me if he thought about it more and more, and he was like, I don't like. What am I? I know, like, I want to get out of Brooklyn, but Kyrie is there. I heard Ben Simmons is maybe shooting jumpers in practice. I don't know. That's the rumor. It's just the best situation for him.
That's the thing that moves the needle. Those Ben Simmons jumpers. He's one of us. He's just one of us. Yeah.
So you're okay. You would be okay. It seems silly to be
I'm pretty pro.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty pro. I'm basically all the way pro.
Of the trade potential packages, so like the Tyler Hero, Duncan Robinson, the Golden State package, which is just like Jordan Poole and all the young guys, Phoenix, which is like a 3-team trade where DeAndre Ayton goes somewhere, and whatever team wants DeAndre Ayton, they send probably just role players and picks to the Nets for Kevin Durant, and then the Toronto package, Scotty Barnes. So I just want to explain something to our audience.
Yeah.
So if you are interested in the Toronto package, go on Fanspo, go on whatever your favorite trade machine is. Try to trade for Scotty Barnes and Kevin Durant to Toronto. What you'll find is that any trade that happens, the Nets must get back a high number of salaries. Scotty Barnes is a rookie making not that much money. So either the Nets get Scotty Barnes and Pascal Siakam back, or it's like Scotty Barnes, Gary Trent Jr., and OJ Anunoby or Fred VanVleet in there, right? So not only do you get Scotty Barnes, but you actually get Pascal Siakam. And if I get Pascal Siakam and Scotty Barnes for Kevin Durant, and let's say, I don't know. I mean, I know Raptors fans are like, that's too much. It's Kevin Durant. I'm just saying Rudy Gobert went for 7 first-round picks or whatever it was. If I get a couple first-round picks in those two dudes, that's pretty tempting to me. So that's the one thing that gives me pause of like, well, Kevin Durant doesn't want to be here, so maybe you just cut your losses. You take Scotty Barnes, you build around him, and then you have him and Ben Simmons and Nick Claxton, and you're like playing the most flexible non-shooting team ever.
I kind of like it. I mean, of all anything, and of course, I'm not going against the grain here, but of all of the packages, obviously the Scotty Barnes ones is the only kind of intriguing one for Nets fans.
And somewhat friend of the show, Scoopy Robinson, has reported himself that Scotty Barnes would be available in a Kevin Durant trade.
Mm-hmm.
And if he is, that means, again, Fred VanVleet and Gary Trent Jr. would be coming back. Or
God, I love Fred VanVleet. I would love that.
I think
myself into this actually.
The cultural fit of Fred VanVleet from Kyrie Irving would be just, I mean, it's night and day, right? Like it's completely different. And Fred VanVleet to me over a 82 game season and the playoffs, because you still have to like Kyrie still would have to play every playoff game. I'd rather have Fred VanVleet than Kyrie, because that lets you then trade Kyrie for, again, whatever.
Pins
on the dollar.
We've hit the exact perfect time to wrap a bow on it, if that's what you want to do, Mike, unless you have any other thoughts for us.
Man. I mean, again, TJ Warren, just a great pickup.
Yeah, I'm going to watch some Warren clips right now.
And the Nets are making moves, as Sham says, and I said before him, that, they're making moves that they're adding guys to the roster. And you usually don't do that.
Yeah. Good stuff. And on a bang, Mike. Give us that big outro energy.
Hey, guys. Check us out on Twitter at BK Glue. Guys, honestly, our YouTube, if you're not subscribed to our YouTube and you're a listener.
Smash that.
Not only is there, like, full recaps of the show, typically most of the time, but there's also, like, we're going to do some special clips and all that stuff. We'll maybe do a live show every now and again. We'll just, like, keep it spicy.
I want you to jump up on the top of your mantle and do a diving arm elbow drop onto the subscribe button on the YouTube channel. Is what I want you to do. Smash it that hard. Did you like that?
Yeah, that's hilarious. And then Apple Podcasts, 5 stars. We want to have them. Thank you. I mean, honestly, thank you guys for listening to the show, because we're gonna keep talking about Kevin Durant.
Always. We'll never stop. Bye, everybody. See you. Bye.